I'm just going to double check that we are in fact live. And if anybody can give me that heads up in the chat, it would be amazing. So if you can see that we are live, when we can't see that we are live, let us know. Because I think we are, mate. We are live. There you go. Professionalism. Best.
I like that amateurism that we all have.
Mate, look at that camera. Hang on a minute.
You don't see me?
Listen, just wait a minute. Wait. Look at that. Can't see shit though now. Wait a minute. Got this thing that bounces light back at you. You know, I'm great in low lighting.
What's that?
If you get like a low light setting, I look good. Yeah. Today I burnt my nose off. I don't know whether everybody can see it at home. I've got a bit of a panda. Look at that. See?
Are we live or not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we are live. Brad Butler said so. We are live. The Drew said so. Oh, Call GT5 said so. And Kratos said so. Terence Opperman's in there. Brick nose. 91. Looks like I've been hitting the nose with a brick. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just before you joined us there, I was just told by the mighty Engin Terzi he's about to get booted out of this restaurant that he's in 52 minutes. So we got a short period of time before they kick his ass out.
No, I can continue by walking. No problem.
We might have a bit of a mobile thing. So, but just a few notes early on, guys. Not that I want to do myself out of super chats, but please keep your super chats on point and relevant to what we're talking about if you can, because we want to keep this thing really on point tonight. We got a lot to get through, and we want to do a match review. It's the first time myself and Engin have looked at East versus West 18. We usually do a bit of a match review, as everybody knows. I just spotted Travis Tuggle in the chat. See you soon. Armenian arm wrestler, how are you doing? Stacks, how are you doing? And everybody else, thanks for tuning in. So, Engin,
yeah,
we're very close now. Only a few days away from East versus West 18. 18!
Yeah.
Got a few under your belt now.
We just celebrated our 4th anniversary.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you look back at the situation with East versus West, you must be very proud, mate, because it's even if the world blew up tomorrow, it still goes down with a tremendous legacy, even at this stage, and we're only warming up, and that's the reality of it. It's getting better. The sport's growing, and already, if you look at the sort of legacy of the matches that have been put on at the moment and the events that have been put on at the moment, they are rock strong. And another one coming up now, where we will see the very best of the best contested. Levan Saganashvili, Hermes Gasparini, the Gladiator. Can he do it? He came close last time. Can he do it this time? What do you think, mate? Genuinely, I know you don't. I know you're going to sit on the fence a little bit, but I've got 60-40 in favor of.
That's why we need to do this program on my channel, because I can ask you, but I mean, listen, I'm setting match for these guys, and if I really tell my opinion, they may have different ideas about me.
Yeah, I get it. You got to stay neutral. Stay neutral. But I think it's fair to say that if you look at the history of matches, though, with Levan, pretty unarguable that Hermes came the closest in the modern era. In the time that he's been undefeated, Hermes ran him the closest. And, you know, at that time, there could have been a number of factors involved. A very hot climate. There could have been some issues with his health. Who knows? But the beautiful thing about this is that Hermes gets another opportunity, and both men know a lot more about their opponent now. And in a way, that kind of takes away a lot of excuses, in my opinion. So I really like that this match is happening. I like both pullers as men and as arm wrestlers. They're both a lot more complete, I think, than people imagine. And I think the time is right for this. It's really warming up. We will get on to other matches, ladies and gents, tonight. Don't worry if you're wondering how many other matches we're going to go through. We'll try and whistle stop them. But I wanted to start sort of with the biggest match on the card in many ways, or the one with more significance, because ultimately Levan Saganashvili probably represents the strongest arm wrestler that's ever pulled. Certainly. Let us know your thoughts about that in the comments, guys. Do you agree with that statement, first of all? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few reasons. Like, one is he has been dominant for like about 7 years. And also, I believe that we are at the time of got scared when I saw the European Championships in Romania. Whenever I saw those, even the junior youth pullers, I mean, I can say that like they really got inspired, and the level is going really high. I realized that the reason the level is going high because people now have reason to take arm wrestling so seriously, even as a profession. Like they see something. They see that, you know, if I'm good enough, I will reach somewhere. So that is why I think that a lot of people start to take it seriously. And the competition level at the East versus West just made those athletes, you know, incredible. Just think about it. 123, 24 kilo guy, Laletin, gave that round one to Levan. And now that guy in that shape and this shape, just almost like two different person. But we still do not know if he can do anything to Levan or not. So it just means that Levan is also at another level. And Michael, I mean, he's like getting stronger and stronger and stronger. But there are still people that can also defeat him. So I don't think that this progress even slow down yet. And we are at the crazy level. And yes, Levan being number one at this level of arm wrestling, I mean, yeah, I think that there is no doubt that guy is the strongest arm wrestler who ever lived.
Who, over the years, outside of the modern era, would you have liked to see pull him the most? So if you look outside of the current crop of super heavyweights, so active super heavyweights now, who, when you look at the history of the sport, would you have personally, just as a purist arm wrestler, enjoyed seeing pull Levan?
Yeah. I mean, you are asking me if I enjoy watching Levan?
No, who would you have liked from the past? So if you
okay.
could say Lupkus, Cleve Dean, Karayev, who would it be? Who would be the guy you'd like to see pull him the most from the past?
To be honest, probably best shape of Dennis, probably. But no disrespect, I think Dennis is the strongest left arm ever. But right arm, I don't see. I mean, to be honest, I think that I would still want to see someone from this era against Levan. I think that would be Hermes of today. I think Hermes of today is also at incredible level.
Do you think Hermes of today beats any heavyweight in history outside of Levan? Super heavyweight.
I mean, like, I'm just thinking, like, according to Michael himself, he's in his best shape ever. And what I saw in Tbilisi and then in Istanbul, that shape, I mean, I have no reason to not to believe him. While Hermes was able to defeat him. And so I think Hermes had chance against anyone in the history. I think that still I think his toughest challenge would be Besso Dennis, and maybe maybe not, I shouldn't say even, but Pushkar, best of Pushkar. And I would like to see best of John against Hermes, and also Devon today in the super heavyweight. We will soon see against Vitaly. I think that is also a very tough challenge for Hermes.
Yeah, it's a very engaging topic, mate. But it's funny, isn't it? Where you always need that little bit of a spark to set the place on fire. And when you look at the way that this is going now for Levan, certainly, I think that if you were to get the win right now over him, if Hermes could pull it off, or Larratt, Devon, you name it, whoever could pull it off now, I think it's the great escape. It's absolutely monumental. The place would go nuts. The roof would come off. And one of the questions I wanted to ask, let's say there was the upset. I see it as I mean, you let me know, guys, in the chat if people are online with where I am. I see it as an upset if Hermes wins. I absolutely love Hermes, but I've got him as an underdog. And I've got him as a significant underdog. It's about 60-40. But
60-40 is very, very good chances against someone like Levan.
Now imagine he does it. Imagine he pulls it off. With it being an upset.
Of course. Of course. But this is not only for Hermes, for anyone else.
Oh,
like
for
anyone who's beating Levan, it would be upset. But the question that I asked to some of the athletes, and I want to ask you, if Hermes beats Levan, when Levan is now saying that he is in his best shape ever, would it make Hermes the strongest arm wrestler who ever lived?
It's where I was going in some respects, but the other thing I was going to say, mate, was does Levan do you change the plans then, and does Levan get an instant rematch?
Listen, if Levan asks for a rematch, he gets the rematch.
Yeah,
I mean, if Levan doesn't deserve, no one else deserves.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we've got everybody sort of thinks, okay, so Levan, if he wins this, then he would pull, I assume, Vitaly Larratt, regardless of the outcome of the Devon match. Is that fair or not? So if Devon beat Larratt, would Vitaly still get the next shot at Levan, or would he put Devon in there?
So you are saying that Levan beats Hermes and then Vitaly beats Devon?
Yep.
Or no?
Well, if Levan beat Hermes and Devon beat Vitaly, would Vitaly not get a shot?
I don't think Levan would accept to pull Vitaly in such case.
Yeah, okay.
Levan, I talked with Levan. Levan said that, Engin, I'm pulling all the best guys one after another. And he says that let them pull against each other, and I pull against the winner. But we don't know. That's if Levan wins. If Hermes wins, I mean, maybe, I don't know. We will see. It's just like a lot of athletes also wants me to give them clear answers. I can't. Like, athletes have their own plans, but you can't really go only with one guy's perspective. You understand? Sure. Yeah, you need to look at it from many different perspectives. And Vitaly versus Devon, let's see if that match is gonna even happen, and not. Time will show.
Is that not set in? I thought that was coming in August.
I don't like. Probably it's set, but they're just like it may be soon to understand soon.
Because meeting both guys, at King of the Table, the last King of the Table, obviously had a taxi ride with Vitaly, and he seemed to be very acceptant that it was coming. Dev seems very acceptant that it's coming. So I expect both guys are in up for it unless they're saying something behind closed doors that they're not saying publicly. But both guys seem to be very. I know.
No. I think they both are ready. But just let's talk about something else. Yeah, like the conditions, may not be ready, but let's move forwards from this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on to the match card and come back to that. Two newcomers, Wallace Dilly, Rickert Borman. You had these guys on the other day, and Rickert Borman, confident young man, isn't he? Quietly confident.
Yeah. I think both are confident, but one likes to show. The other one is old enough to be cautious. But inside of him, I feel he's confident. But I think that both. I think Rickard is more confident, but I don't exactly know that confidence is totally based on knowledge and experience, or it is knowledge and some like being young. You understand?
Yeah.
When you are young, you may miscalculate. I'm not saying he does it, but not everyone is as confident as he is. Either he is a freak, which I'm sure he is, but from other side, Wallace also looks like he is a freak, starting a few years ago and then like start beating everyone, dominant.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. He's only been in it about 3 years, hasn't he, Wallace Dilly?
Yeah.
4 years, something like that. And I know that he wasn't amazing when he first got, he wasn't the guy that burst onto the scene and beat the living daylights out of everyone. He got some losses, and then suddenly he really got into the ascendancy. I'm assuming that's just because he started to really take it seriously. And obviously when you do that and you start to join the sport up, it pays dividends. But it's interesting because there's a huge buzz globally around Rickert Borman. I mean, we've got Terence Opperman in the chat now, one of my guys. Terence, love the dude. And he's very familiar with Rickert Borman. He just wrote a moment ago in the chat there. Rickert is a beast. He's very, very strong. So there's a real buzz about him. He's done some stuff. I think Wallace Dilly may feel inside himself like he's being overlooked and that a lot of people don't appreciate the magnitude of victories that he's got and exactly where he is. And yet you speak to the lads in North America that know Wallace well, and they are really confident that he's going to do this. They don't
know Rickard. They don't know Rickard.
Yeah, it's
like,
good.
I will tell you something. If they were training with Rickard, and Wallace was the one from South Africa who lives in Australia, maybe they would be confident with the Rickards.
Yeah,
you understand? So, like people talks only about what they know, and I'm not saying they are wrong, but they don't know the other guy. They know they are confident about their guy, but I mean, how can you know if the other guy is stronger or not? Unless the guy's name is Levan, and even you give 40% to Hermes, as someone who knows Armwrestling very well. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I always think back to when the emergence of Danny Tesh. And, all of Australia spoke about Danny Tesh, and the rest of the world was dismissive. Turns out the Australians were right. Danny Tesh turns out to be omnipotent and the greatest arm wrestler or athlete of any description in any sport ever. And that's Danny Tesh. Back to arm wrestling.
Yeah, one guy said Hermes doesn't have fans.
Doesn't have fans?
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, Hermes is a lot of fans.
Hermes, I think, as of now, like one of a few real superstars of our sports.
Mate, I love him. I think Hermes is also trying very hard to extend that side. I mean, we've been doing a series with him where we're just talking to him, getting his history, getting his backstory. A lot of cool things about Hermes Gasparini. One of the things I like the most is that he's trying to push his character out there, learned English, so he's got a broader opportunity to speak to people, and really done well with it. I mean, if you chart his back, Hermes, to when he was in his teenage years, spoke very, very little English. Now he's great, and he's also got almost natural catchphrases. You know,
Yes.
everywhere you go, people are my friend.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
These are the
Quality
things.
and
Yeah, it's
everything,
brilliant.
yeah. And he's growing. He's growing. Everyone started from somewhere.
How can you not like him?
Even Devon, like first 15 years until like 2021, he had 300,000 subscribers. After King of the Table in his first race, right now he's 1.2 million in
How
last
cool is that?
in
1.2
last 4
million.
years. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he like four times he grew in last 4 years after 15 years. So
Mhm.
people needs to give Hermes some time, you know. But trust me, especially like he, and then from the young ones, you know, also Morozov has that superstar electric, you know.
Aesthetically, but on pure aesthetics, you just look at the guy. He looks like a friggin' superhero.
Yeah,
Morozov looks ridiculous.
I will
Unbelievable condition on a man that size.
I will never ever forget on that stage, you know, when I mentioned this 100 times, I will mention again when he was saying like "Dawai Vitali Dawai." I
Oh,
was
it's great.
just right by the stage and just looking at him from a few meters.
Mhm.
I don't think I will ever forget that. You understand? That he was just like, and he was screaming all of those things that he saved in him. You know how people were making fun with him, and so he was just like, I don't know. I will never forget that.
I think it's great when you get that in the super heavyweight division because it's really visceral. You know, when you're up close like that, you can't beat a live event when something really visceral goes down. You know, it's mega. And one thing that match is very very entertaining. And it's a shame actually that I don't speak his native language because I'd love to know more about Morozov's character, understand what he's like as a person. You may know more through the translations and so on. I've spoken to him many times, but only through translation and what he's answering questions. It's very different because obviously people are playing a little bit of a game there, and you don't really see the fibre of the man. So I'd like to understand a little bit more about Morozov's character. But one thing I will say is, if you look at some of his matches, they've been unbelievably entertaining. I'm going to say his match with Cadette was one of my favourite matches in the entire East
Hmm.
versus West series. That was a mega match. Absolutely mega match. I loved it. I thought
Hmm.
it was great. So,
Hmm.
yeah, big fan. I think he's spot on. We got a super chat in about Rickard Borman. Alexander Clark. Alexander, thank you for your super chat, mate. He's put, in regards to Rickard Borman, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Brett Coots beat Rickard left hand. Not sure if Rickard is better left or right. My understanding was that he's much better right. And I think that was about a year or maybe slightly more ago. Let me know in the comments if we've got any Aussies in there or anyone who knows more about the date of that. But I do believe that he lost. But wasn't that also in a round robin, which can change a lot of things up? But we'll see, mate. We will see. But thanks for your super chat. Going on to the next match I want to look at, mate. Rising star of Sweden, Elin Janheim. And we got Fia Reisik, who is dyed in the wool. For me, Fia goes into this a big favourite. But I think this is probably closer match than many people appreciate
Yes.
because Elin is on the rise big time. Really, really solid puller, getting a big reputation over in Sweden. And it underlines the fact that Sweden is like the female arm wrestling mecca of the world. I mean, just so many mega talented pullers over there.
Hmm. I mean, I'm not sure if Fia is heavily favorite about this match. They pulled 3 years ago. Ellen beat Fia with left arm, and Ellen at that time was 20 years old. Now she's 23. Like from 20 to 23 is not like 34 to 37 or something. 20 to 23 is like 5 times more than 24 to 27 about improvement. And Fia is also current world champion with left arm. And with right arm, I think she beat Fia once at that time, and then Fia beat her twice. And so, but Fia, I have never seen Fia this dominant as lately. And I know the Ellen also improved a lot. I think I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if Ellen wins. I won't be surprised if Fia wins.
Yeah, I got to agree with what you said a moment ago, mate. Fia Rasic at the moment, despite the fact that she's been pulling seemingly forever, I think she's in a real purple patch right now. I think she's pulling the best she's ever pulled in her career by some way. Looks more technically joined up than ever. Looks experienced. Looks calm. Looks really, really solid. And if Ellen can come in there and get some kind of win, wow. I mean, what a statement that is. Because in terms of female arm wrestling, Fia is one of the old guard. And she's been very well known everywhere and anywhere. She's such a bubbly personality. Very well known in that respect. It's a big opportunity, signal flare opportunity for Ellen if she can come in and get this win. So, interesting matchup there. We'll look at the next one. And I wanted to ask you, mate, about this one specifically because I know you had the guys on your channel tonight. So, if you haven't seen it, check it out, guys. Arsene and Paul. You had them on tonight, didn't you?
What's your opinion about this match?
I've got Paul as a favorite.
Yeah. I will tell you something.
Don't get me wrong, Katarian's a beast. When he's on the, I mean, you only need to look at his record. You need to look at who he's beaten, who he's given great matches, his latest outing where he was very, very, very impressive. But I do believe that the explosivity of Paul Lynn and the commitment and the dedication of Paul Lynn is possibly a separating factor here. And I think he's very, very explosive, which Shark has a very different pulling style. So I've got Paul Lynn as a favourite, but it's nowhere near as pronounced as some of the matches on the card. I think it's a really good match.
Yeah, I think I think that, as you said, Paul is explosive, but if somehow Arsene Katarian stops him somewhere not so near the pad, then match can go either side.
What was amazing in the last match, Arsene, I know he lost one pin, but to be honest, for the majority of the match, he looked like he had some other gears he could go into. He looked like he was cruising. He looked like he was a class up. And when a guy does that, it's very impressive. You can't help but sort of buy into his hype a little bit. But I'll be honest with you, the manner in which Paul Lynn dealt with his last match was unexpected. I did not think he'd go through David Samusha like that. He was utterly dominant, and that really impressed me. I thought he was mega, absolutely mega. Now I know that Katarian's a completely different ask, a lot bigger guy, a lot better frame.
Who did you say?
Patch.
Who is that? The second?
Katarian.
Katarian. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He is. He's a bigger guy. Like Paul pulled Samusha, but Samusha, in my opinion, is not really a 95 kg category guy. Not till long ago, he was pulling 75 kilo at WAF. And so 85 kilo, I think, is his category, while Arsene is a bigger guy, bigger frame guy.
Yeah.
Bigger. So this is a more serious match. I mean, other one was very serious as well, but I was expecting David to just somehow reach that 95 kilo, and he's told me that he was like 89 kilo. So yeah. I realized that, like it is already very, very hard to beat Paul. And when you are probably after the weigh-in, just say Paul was 99 kilo after the weigh-in. And then it is very, very hard thing to beat Paul when you are about 10 kg lighter.
Yeah.
So, but Arsene will not be same. Today, they both were about the same weight when I asked them, about 98 kilo. And I think power-wise, they are very close. But I don't know if, but listen, Arsene is a very smart guy. Very
He's
smart.
very smart and very confident.
Yeah, it's very smart
Very
guy.
confident.
He can pull in many different directions.
Yeah, he's really good.
And he took second place in 95 kilo at AMC. And I think second in Europe after Sasha.
Yeah,
Andre. Yeah. And so I think he's very dangerous for Paul, but you may be right that Paul may be slightly favorites.
I've got him as a slight favourite. Anything can happen, and I think what one of the cool things about this is, I think both guys are quietly very confident in themselves, and I think both men are genuinely on the rise. I think both these guys are really improving, and also improving in this format. I think that, as I say, Katarian looked like he had extra gears in that last event. I thought he looked very, very good and looked like he could do more. And
Were you surprised by that result against Andrei Sharkevich?
I didn't think it'd be that easy, actually.
I think after round one,
easy.
the things changed, I think, right?
Well, he lost the second round, didn't he? But I think, was it the second round or the first? He lost one round, and you thought, oh, here we go. Yeah, it was the second round. And I thought, here we go. This could be the turning of the tide.
Okay, I think Arsene won the first one, and Andre won the second one, and then
I think Arsene won the first.
Yeah.
Then he got pegged back one pin, and then he seemed to just go up levels. He seemed to separate himself, and to be honest, from there on, it was cruise control. He looked like it was almost like he took his foot off the pedal a little bit. You know what I mean? Like he probably thought, okay, easy day, relaxed a little. And I'm not taking anything away from Shark there. Shark's solid as hell. But it looked like Katarian had extra gears. I think he has more in the tank. And I do think that he's about to get a real test here. But I'm a massive fan of both these lads. I like complete arm wrestlers, and I like clever arm wrestlers, intelligent pullers. One of the interesting things for me here, a lot of the time, Paul Lynn starts as an underdog. And
not this time, yeah.
No, not this time. That's why I find it more interesting. Because a lot of the time he starts as an underdog. This time I think he's a nailed-on favourite. I think most people probably underestimate Arsene and don't underestimate Paul. I think that last win against David Samusha and the manner in which that took place, I think it really helped cement Paul as a real force, and he's always been a fan favourite. I think people underestimate Arsene.
I think Paul's win against Lachlan and Paul's match against Rustam, even though he lost in Orlando, I think that to me was more impressive. Like him to give Rustam Babe that tough match, to me was very impressive.
Yeah, Rustam's a friggin'
again to Rustam, I think it was more impressive than him beating Samusha. Yeah, maybe it is just like Rustam is as good as Samusha at 95 kilo. I'm talking about Rustam 95 and Samusha 85.
Yeah.
About the
comparative.
Same guy. Yeah,
I understand.
So it's very hard to beat Samusha at 85, and the same applies for Rustam. Yeah. Çayın var mı?
Let's have a look. They're gonna kick you out.
Yeah, bir tane şey versene. Meyveli soda verir misin? Limon. Sorry, I'm ordering something to drink.
So, Ryan Bellinger.
Yeah.
Second time out. First time out. Very, very impressive. Looked incredibly strong. Hard to see how strong, to be honest.
Yeah.
A very, very different style of opponent here in
Porta. Yeah.
Alan, much taller, much faster, unbelievably different style to anything that we've seen Ryan face in East versus West. Ray, inside puller, in other words, went to Ryan's strength, went in his lane. Alan Ford is going to do anything but that. Very, very big change. And you chart back Alan Ford's history, he's had some really impressive outings. A lot of people are big believers in Alan Ford north of the border. The Canadians love the dude, and he's got massive experience. Alan Ford's been around the game for a very, very long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested to see where the roof is, where the ceiling is for Ryan Bellinger. What can he do with Alan? Can he run him over? If he can, very.
When you say like you are saying if Ryan can run over
Yes.
Alan,
If he can run over Alan,
I don't think so. Listen, it is very, very hard to run over Alan Ford.
Yes, sir. It
Yeah.
is.
I mean, the guy is strong. The guy is explosive. I think that the best, my opinion, Ryan can do is just stop him and turn the match into a power game. And then things start, but still, I'm not sure he can win easy. Because Alan Ford, people think he's just like, he just hits and then that's all. I have seen him having wars with very tough athletes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very tough athletes, you know, and you wouldn't even expect him to have such war against those guys. And so, but there is a possibility. So my opinion is that Alan has chance to flash pin Ryan. I don't know if he can do that 3 times. I don't even know if he can do once, but there is a possibility.
Yep.
Or Ryan is gonna catch him in hook, and there they will have war. In such case, Ryan may have higher chances because that is his game. But I don't know what your opinion is.
I think exactly that. I think if the match stops in a hook, I've got Ryan Bellinger all day inside. One of the major reasons for that is that I agree Alan's got a hook, but it's nowhere near his ace. I don't believe that Alan will be going for that, certainly in the early rounds. I think he knows. There it is, son. Bit of watermelon. Let's go.
And strawberry. People tell me not to read the comments, but people are asking if it is alcohol or not, but I don't drink alcohol, so.
I'll have one later for you.
Yeah.
You know, there you go. I do drink alcohol, ladies and gentlemen. Not massive amounts, but I love a glass of wine now and again. So when we're over at East versus West 18, I might even have to give myself a glass of wine. Got a couple of super chats coming. Let's just have a look. Remember, guys, if you're super chatting, please keep it on topic because
when you are reading, can I look at my forearm while you?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look here.
Whenever I see camera,
just got to do a bit. Diabolical Billy with a super chat. Oh, mate, Hermes is gonna melt faster than Parmesan on a Naples sidewalk. Look at that, eh? Not a believer. Levan's not arm wrestling. He's steamrolling a pasta noodle. By round 2, Hermes will be sauce on the table, red, running, and dumb. Absolutely diabolical. Thanks, mate. Appreciate your super chat. Stay strong, be stoic. Let's have a look what else we've got here. Hey, did anybody put in the chat there about whether or not we got Riker Borman situation on the left? I'd like to have a look back at that. Let's have a look. I think there was another one. We'll try and find that.
Kardeş. Yeah. Any other super chats you want to read?
I think, Jason, your super chat, mate. Please keep them on topic if we can, buddy. I don't want to get into commentary or anything like that or personnel. We want to keep it on matches, please. Keep your super chats on matches, brother. We don't want to get drawn down that one. Let's have a look. Mate, I wanted to go on to our next match. Todd and Oleg's love child just coming on. Great promoter, greatest pronator. Got a bit of respect for the pronator there, mate.
Yeah. My pronator is not that bad.
Ivan Porta, Spanish legend. Back in the game.
Neil, how do you rate my pronator? 8 out of 10.
To be honest, it was one of your greatest weapons. I think your hand and wrist and your pronator were your primary weapons, mate. Primary weapons. It was what you made you. You're a little bit ahead of your time, actually, in that respect. To be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm. So Ivan Portela, people doesn't know about him.
They will do.
But do you think that when you say that they will, that sounded like you expect Ivan to do something great? Do you think he is in his prime? He's not. He's not in his prime. And
I don't think he's in his prime, but I think he's a weapon. And I also think that Moranto's strength is Ivan Portea's strength. And honestly, I'll be very, very surprised, as I'm sure you will, if this is not an absolute screamer. I think this is going to be a banger. I think it's going to be a visceral inside death war. And I'm really looking forward to this match. I often have favourites on the card that are a little bit outside of the norm. And I'm a big fan of Moranto. I think Joseph Moranto is one of those stars we talked about.
This is not his category, Ivan's category. Ivan's like success was in 55, 60. I don't know if he has ever won 65, but the 70 is not a category that he has been best in any time. Yeah. So, but Joseph is also not the best 70 kilo in the world unless he proves someday. But he is more experienced. Ivan is more experienced. But I don't know where he is at. While Joseph Moranto already won 2 matches, and he was underdog going into both matches, but he won both of them.
Yeah, his match with Cody was mega. I mean, that was a real dramatic seesaw battle when we were over in the last time we were in the States. Hell of a match. Obviously, he got pegged back early, brought it back, turned it around in dramatic fashion. I got to say, I loved Kevin Palco match also, and I expect more of the same here. And what's nice about that is sometimes you get guys in the promotion who can make a name by being the dude that's in battles, you know. They're always in a tear-up. And I think Moranto is going to be that guy in some respects. And this is a really, really interesting match. If you guys in the chat don't know Ivan Portea, hook monster, unbelievably experienced. This guy has been around for a very, very long time at world class.
More than 25 years.
And his hook is acid. And Moranto loves to get into that hook, loves to pull there. Unbelievably powerful inside. And I don't think either one of these guys is going to try and run around each other. I think they're going to go straight in, and it's going to be a screamer. Love that match. And this is one of, in my opinion, one of the closest matches on the card. I've got this really, really close. I give a slight edge to Joseph Moranto for 2 reasons. Number 1, youth and endurance. Number 2, it's in the United States of America. And there can be some effects when you're pulling overseas and you've traveled a long way. If there was a third thing that gives him a slight advantage, it's that he's very familiar with this format. I think he'll be comfortable up there. It's not his first go-round in East versus West. Very familiar with the referees, very familiar with their cadence, very familiar with the whole show. Even though Ivan Portea is super experienced, first time out in the promo. And that can mess with you a little. You need to try and get used to that. And I think that gives Moranto a very, very slight edge. 55-45 all day, super close. Yeah, I really like it. One of the best matches on the card, in my opinion.
What's the next one?
Well, that's how big you want to go. We got a super chat. Just come in. Holy, it's Stephen Pena. I've seen that dude for ages. Stephen, hope you're well, mate. Hope you and your family are well. We've put Hope all as well. Love you. Can't wait for Chicago event. Can you break down how Devon can beat Vitali when they pull? You know what, Stephen? I will come on and do that in detail before that match, buddy. We're not going to do it tonight because we want to keep this focused on the matches at East versus West 18, buddy. All I'll say on this is Devon is extremely dangerous for Vitali Laletin. Vitaly Laletin is extremely dangerous for Devon for a lot of reasons, and I'll go through that. In fact, I'll probably end up doing an entire show on that. I'll certainly come on and do a little bit on it for you. So let's go on to our next match. Wagner Bortalato. Love him. The Earthquake. Can't wait. Juice Jesus. Awesome. Manuel Bataglia. Another one on the card, on the rise. Guy that's got a pretty solid pedigree. First time out in East versus West, and I think it was because he got the qualifier. Are you in the BMW there, mate? Have you just jumped in the motor car?
Yeah.
Hey! Let's just switch gears a little bit. We'll go from the fixed to top gear. Just tell people what's going on here, Engin. You've tell them a bit now that you've gone dark. My favourite kind of lighting. Tell them about your motor car, son. What are we driving here?
What do I drive?
Yeah, let's just throw it down on people a little bit.
It's a BMW.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but the cafe is closing. That's why I had to get out. So
not a problem, mate.
Yeah, just let me.
Just don't crash the bloody car.
No, I will not.
That's all we need.
I can. Yeah. So. Yeah. So let's go.
So, Bataglia came to this through the qualifier, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How highly do you rate him? I'm not going to
I
ask.
He has won WAF Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he can't be someone people can underestimate. So he's good enough. Sorry, he's good enough to have this match against Wagner, and he looked very confident.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And he's pulled some very, very strong guys and done very well against some very strong guys.
Yes.
I'm interested to see whether he takes this as a bit of a step up in level. You know, it's like I've talked about it many times. Stepping into the bloody T-Rex paddock at Jurassic Park. This is the real deal. And he's facing a monster in Wagner Bortalato. And a guy who's going to bring the energy, bring the show, and bring the top-end power, the horsepower. We've seen him put displays on against some of the best guys in the world for 15, 20 years in this weight division, and has been a dominant force at WAF for a long period of time on this arm. Super, super solid. Big coming out party opportunity for Manuel. If he can pull this off, I think he instantly is going to get a lot of notoriety. And it'll be interesting to see whether he can match the energy of Wagner Bortalato.
And he's very fun guy. He's very fun guy.
I don't know his personality, if I'm honest.
He's very funny guy, very funny guy. I think he has a farm, and in the farm, he has cows. He's milking cows, and every day he makes a video and puts on Facebook. And I don't know what he's saying in Italian. He's just talking so loud, you know, and then he's laughing, and then I don't know. People really likes, you know, what he's doing, what he's saying. I don't know exactly what he's saying, but he's very fun guy, very loud guy. I don't know. He reminds me of someone, but I don't exactly remember who, you know.
When you say very loud, you mean loud at the table?
Maybe not at table, but in his daily life, I think.
Yeah.
And did you know that Wagner Bortalato is originally Italian? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know.
And yeah, me neither. They told me when we had the podcast, and
don't know
that. Yeah, I didn't know either. So, and Hermes came for translation, and then I had to do a program with 3 Italian guys then.
Bloody hell, that's hard.
Yeah.
I only have 1, and it was hard enough. Can I tell
you? Yeah.
I'm going to throw my hat into the ring on this one, mate. I've got Wagner Bortalato as a favourite. And I think that
there is a possibility that he can take, Manuel can take Wagner's risk. If he takes the risk, it will be a very good match. But if somehow Wagner is the first one attacks, I don't think Manuel's defense is that good.
Yeah, because that guy gets tight and he goes very, very hard on that press. He gets really, really close with that shoulder roll, and he's so aggressive. And the biggest thing for me is whether Manuel can match that energy. Whether it's if you get run over once by Wagner, he goes through his usual routine of ripping the goddamn table out of its mountains and going completely crazy, even when you've told him not to.
Yeah,
that energy match is going to be a thing for Bataglia.
I think that they are gonna prepare one extra table just in case. It's not joking. Yeah. Because it's very hard to trust Wagner, not as a person, but as self control.
Yeah.
Because last time I told him not to do that. You remember you were there when he was taking the table. You were there, right? Yeah. And
I get it, mate. I mean, it's like me around blueberry muffins. You know, in my mind, I don't want to eat one.
But we love him like that, like as he is, you know. So, I mean, I personally wouldn't mind to have one extra table, as long as he doesn't promise me. Because last time I believed him that he would control himself, and but he didn't. But now he can promise, and then it's good. Yeah,
he makes the show. I absolutely love it when he flips out. One of my favorite moments in the history of arm wrestling was when he slapped the living shit out of himself. I can't remember which match it was. Might have been the match with Zeronov. Been the match with Zeronov. Jody Larratt was in his corner trying to give him sugar to get, and he stood up, jumped about, smacked himself silly, and nearly passed out. He absolutely redlined and he lost. It was like lost consciousness. And I was thinking, oh God, it was one of those moments when you thought something really bad was going to happen. You remember the match with Katarian and Jerry Cadette? Oh, mate, I'll tell you. When Jerry Cadette went purple, I was panicking, thinking, get the defibs. Oh, mate, that was terrible.
Well, I think you were not there, right? When this
No, I was watching on TV. It was purple.
Oh, TV, yeah.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable battle. And Jerry I thought, God, he's going to pass out. And I always get that with Wagner a little bit. He winds himself up so much, he goes to the ragged edge. And I thought, he's going to bloody black out here. So hopefully he makes it through the match without getting too emotional, wrecking too many tables and blacking out at some point. Now, we ain't got a massive amount of time on here, so I'm going to get through to the big matches and the ones that everybody wants to talk about, starting with this. Alex Cadette.
When you say the big matches, you don't mean Hermes Levan, because we did already the biggest match.
Yes, we started with that. I wanted to cover off some of the others. But I can pretty much guarantee that a massive amount of the people that are tuning in here are tuning in for this trio of matches. Levan Hermes, Michael Todd Zeronov, and Devon Larratt Alex. I think
and also Alex Morozov.
Alex and Morozov. Oh, one question I wanted to ask you. Which match will go first? Will Alex pull Devon first or Morozov first?
He will pull Devon first. He's listen, this is the guy that will pull two matches.
Yep.
So you give him the choice. You understand?
What will be the order, mate? Do we know yet or not? In terms of how long
I know. I have the notes, but for sure that he's gonna pull Devon first, and then after that he's gonna pull Morozov. But there will be about 2 hours in between.
That's what I was going to ask. How long has he got? Because I know some people, for example, Mindaugas Moriarty Teresaitis, is a big fan of if he's going to pull twice, he wants to go quick. So he wants to do one and then another quick. Maybe very different with the super heavyweight. I suppose different guys are going to want to approach it different ways. What was Alex's feelings on that? Did he want the
Alex told me that he wants to go Devon first. He said that match is more important, but he said, Engin, give me a day. He's gonna train, and he's gonna do some kind of tests in like how long time he's recovering,
Yeah.
And the next day he told me that Engin, he wants like he said, Engin, I want minimum like 4 or 5 matches in between. So yeah, this is what we will do it. Yeah.
Probably remembering that last match he had with Morozov on the other arm, which was an absolute mega match. If you guys in the chat, if you didn't see the match between Cadette and Morozov, I can't remember which East versus West it was, but believe me, it was one of the best super heavyweight matches you will ever see.
11.
East versus West 11 main event match. My God, what a match! Go back, check that out after the show. Tell you what, it's an absolute banger. If you haven't seen it, check that out. Hopefully we get the same this time round on the right arm. So let's dive into this match. Alex Cadette, No Limits Devon Larratt, left-handed. If you look at the history of these guys on the practice table, all things would suggest that Alex Cadette should be the favourite.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that's been dominant in those kind of environments. He's more left-hand focused than Devon is. However, a lot of the polls suggest that Devon's a favourite, and it's kind of weird. Devon's raised it a number of times. He spoke about it the other night when we were on the fix. It's quite an interesting one, because ultimately, when you get up to the table, it is not a popularity contest. The match
listen. I am afraid that if you would do a poll and say that who is the prettiest arm master, and you just put Devon there, he would still get probably 20% of the votes, you know.
Dude, I thought you were going to go my way now. I thought you were going to throw me a bone.
Yeah, I mean, he may not win that one, but still he will get some. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't have good chance to win this match. He has good chance. The reason is that Devon has a reputation that he is known doing things better than his opponents when it is an actual match.
Yeah. Big match puller.
Yeah. So that's why I mean, I will tell you something. Whenever he was training with Alex, if that day they had a match, I don't think anything would change, no matter how good he is. But I don't think he was training with his lefts as serious as he has been training lately. But from other side, do you know the term burning the ships?
And in what context? I don't think so. Burning the ship.
I mean, I like historically, you know, when a commander, you know, with his army, with the ships, they came to a land, and then when they saw a much bigger army is waiting, and then his soldiers got intimidated, so commander burned the ships, so nobody could go back.
Run.
Yeah. So what I'm just saying that I think Alex in such condition, he with his left arm, better arm, he had 2 matches and he lost, and now he's going to his 3rd match. And whenever I look at Alex's face, I see someone who burned the ships, and I don't know if you understand or not. If you were talking privately, I would explain more clear way. But he is ready. But Devon is also ready. So
I think Devon's specialty is intimidation, either quietly or aggressively. And I think with different guys, he does it different ways. And I do believe that he will try to pick Alex apart. I believe that Devon's left arm is not his right, but it's got some real strengths. And I've seen Devon's left when it's been really, really, really significant. And I'm hoping he can pull one of those out where we can see the best of his left hand. And if he does pull out the best of his left hand, I've also got him as a favourite.
Listen, I will tell you something. First Morozov match and then Dadikyan match. They both attacked on Alex's arm, and they both control Alex pronator. This time he has an opponent is not known with his left arm spinating in or hooking or something, but more going with rising. So I think stylistically, Devon is a better matchup for Alex than Morozov and Dadikian, because Devon won't be able to use that height advantage he always uses, and Alex has very strong hand and wrist, especially with left arm, very dominant. So where Devon is attacking is best for Gurdecha, but Devon is not like other top rollers. He's different. He's defensive way pulling, but the only thing is that many top rollers like don't have the shoulder pressure that Alex has. Alex showed during the Morozov match. Morozov match with left arm, Alex showed that he's a complete arm wrestler with left, outside, side, hook, shoulder pressure, defensive position, everything, So I think either Alex is gonna dominate Devon, or we're gonna see a big war, really big war that we will never forget.
I expect it is going to be a big war. I think it's going to be one of those ones where Devon can get a shred in the match. I think maybe by second round, he gets some kind of breaks on the match, puts some bleed in there. But I think that Alex won't go away so easy. I think he's going to be sticky as hell and very, very strong. And I'm expecting a massive war. That's what I'm genuinely expecting, a massive war. A moment ago there, Engin, I caught a...
But there is a possibility Alex also may dominate that match.
Look at that there, Engin.
Or some rounds.
It's breaking away from arm wrestling. Look at that. Look at that. See
What's that?
I've got tan line in sunglasses shit. It's getting worse. Look at that. Bad that. I like a fat panda. Bad that. That's not good. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Now and again, I just wondered why you'd not given me Best Looking Arm Wrestler award there a few minutes ago, and then I realised.
Somebody said that you are the prettiest one. I thought Pretty was Pretty. I think it was Brett Butler or.
Oh yes, go on, Brady. Yeah, so you know.
I thought that the Pretty is used for female.
Well, I am pretty like a girl.
Okay. Okay.
You're not impressed with it, apart from the grey and the fat. But other than that, you take that out. Yeah, right there. I don't think I'm going to pass as a woman, though, son, to be honest. Somebody I've just seen there. And Tim Jim, you cheeky bollocks, he's put Neil will look like Donald Trump. Thanks, mate. You know who your mates are. Appreciate that. Brilliant. Just because I've got a ropey tan line, don't start giving me abuse on here. Absolute tosser. I get tossers in here. He's probably a nice bloke, Tim Jim, but he's just out of order. Just got to get a ropey tan line. Anyway, where were we? Favorite?
Alex and Devon having wars.
I think so. I think it's a.
Yeah, I will tell you one thing for sure.
Yes.
I will tell you something for sure. Alex, that we will see in this match, in my opinion, minimum 10% stronger than we have ever seen him. Not the same Alex, but we will not see the same Devon that we saw against
Georgie.
Not for sure, not Georgie, but also against Corey West, because against Corey West, he was also...
he was. The interesting thing is, I think with Corey, he was cruising. I think Devon had a lot more in the tank there. Stylistically, I think Alex represents a much trickier match stylistically for Devon than the Gorilla did. I think that pace, the top roll attempt, and the fact that he can transition to the press so fluidly, if required, it's going to be a bloody big question about the endurance. Because I was very, very impressed with Cadette's endurance in the Morozov match. I think he got hurt with Dadikian. I think he actually hurt his arm. He tried to transition to a hook. Dadikian had him pinned in there and blasted to the side. Then he just tweaked his elbow pretty good. and I don't think he could come back from there. But I think he'll be much more of a tricky match for Devon. I think he's going to make Devon think a great deal in this match, and I think that's why I'm so sure it'll end up in a screamer. I think.
What do you think about his second match, Morozov right arm?
Well, my only concern there is I do believe that it's going to be a ridiculous death war with Devon, and it's just how much he can sweep himself up off the carpet if he's a little tired. Some people it doesn't matter, but Morozov is a very, very fit, very, very large athlete who is very, very complete. And I think people probably underrate Morozov because of what happened when he pulled Georgi Svetkov. At that time, as my understanding was that it wasn't the best of him. He'd had a pretty serious issue with his stomach. I think Georgi Svetkov is a bad match for him anyway, as a matter of fact, but I do believe that Morozov is getting better all the time, and he's a very, very hungry, very aggressive young arm wrestler. And if Alex is in an unbelievable war with Devon, I would give a significant edge to Morozov, probably as much as 60-40. I think if he comes through Devon clean, very, very close match, hard match to call.
You are saying that if Alex somehow dominates Devon, then his Morozov match will be head to head.
Yes.
But if he will have a war with Devon, then his chances will be lower.
I believe so, because I think I don't know. There's a lot of arguments here, isn't there? I think I'd rather it happen on the day. If it was me pulling this, I'd rather it happen on the day than the day after. I always think you're better to do it that day, which he is. It may be that it's a different arm. It doesn't bother him. Look at the situation with, I'll give you a pertinent example. So look at the match with Mindaugas, Terzi and Yanis, okay? I thought it was an unbelievable war. My favourite match on that card by a long way. Fantastic match. Fantastic match. You look at Mindaugas on the left arm against Hunter, who is no bum. Didn't bother him one bit. Very, very, very solid. No problem. Maybe Alex is the same. Maybe he's not too affected. But I do believe that the match with Devon is going to be a death war. I think it's going to be an absolute banger. And I hope it is. I hope it's the match of the night. I hope it delivers. I think it's on paper, very dramatic match. I think that Alex, probably inside himself, he's pretty confident. He's had a lot of experience in training with Devon. Knows a lot about Devon's lines.
I mean, he knows, but Devon also knows.
Yes, he does. And I think Devon will be very confident on camera, but I think he'll have a great deal of respect for what he's in with, and he should. But I think he finds a stop at some point. And when he does, I think it goes off like a bomb. I think you're going to see an absolute screamer. It's like the Moranto and Ivan Porta match. I'll be very surprised if Devon and Alex don't get into a horrible match, because we know both have the capability to do that. They've shown that in previous outings. I think it could get a bit chaotic. As I say, for anybody in the chat who hasn't seen East versus West 11 and the match with Cadette and Morozov, go and watch that, and it'll show you just where this guy can go. Alex Cadette is a warrior. The dude can go. If he gets into the trenches, believe me, he's equal to it. Very, very solid guy. And I think he's probably stronger than Devon on the left arm. Not as wily, not as experienced, not as much guile, not as sneaky. I think it turns into a screamer, mate. We'll see, won't we? On paper and in my head, I see that being an absolute rocket of a match. I really, really do. I think it's going to deliver on the hype.
Yes.
Monster Michael Todd, Georgi Zeronov.
And another burning the bridges. I mean, with ships. Like case for both athletes. I mean, it is very, very hard thing to run through Michael. And round one of Michael versus Vitaly showed how good Michael is. I don't understand. Like, I don't know what is wrong with people when they are underestimating Michael.
Maybe they're just not seeing it or not understanding the fact that Michael.
Yeah, but people
very
who don't understand. I mean, usually, I think they need to try to understand. All these people who are very knowledgeable can't be wrong about the guy.
We only need to look at the match with Hermes. I mean, Hermes.
Oh no, listen. You ask people, they say that Hermes destroyed Michael. If you ask Hermes said that he was this much better.
Yeah, it was really close.
And then when Hermes says it, people says to Hermes, "Oh, you don't know what you are talking about." Those people are very funny people.
Oh, yeah.
And
I thought it was very...
ask Vitaly what he felt. You know, ask Vitaly what he will say about Michael. He for sure didn't like. He for sure didn't like that round one. Someone like Vitaly at the center of the match stopped. You know, I mean, we learned two things. One is, like, we didn't expect Michael to be at the center stopping Vitaly in a fresh round. Second thing, we didn't know how effective can Vitaly be with flop wrists against Michael because of the reach, and then those strong fingers didn't allow Michael to rise up, you know.
Mate, I was super impressed with Vitaly Larratt in that match. I thought he was awesome. I think he's getting better and better, and it underpins the fact that the evolution of the super heavyweight division and the fact that Vitaly Larrattin's a professional now. You know, he's not as he's full-time arm wrestler. He's not driving the truck anymore. He owns the company, but I couldn't be more impressed with him. I thought he was outstanding. I do like this match stylistically much more for Michael, but I think there's a brutal threat represented by Zeronov. When you look at the physicality of Georgi Zeronov, you see someone who is truly stupidly strong, put together like a friggin' Neanderthal. He's just thick set, powerful, unbelievable structure, massive strength, doesn't get much stronger. Little bit of finesse lacking there, which may leave a hole for Michael to run through. And I've seen Michael get into screamers with pretty much everyone and anyone in the super heavyweight division for the last 20 years. So it's very, very hard for me to see that Zeronov runs through Michael.
No, that will not happen. That will not happen.
Just don't
and
see it.
Also, we do not know. Listen, how interesting it is that you need to have that key, you know, to unlock Michael. Like anyone who says, "I'm very strong, I can beat Michael," like
it's going to take more than that, mate.
No, you look at him, maybe not, you know. Yeah, if it was the case, Denis Siplenko and Andrei Pushkar would do every time they meet the guy. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it takes more than that. And
awkward man to
we don't know if the Zeronov can do that. It is. I think the Zeronov is underdog. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I've got him. I've got him as a significant underdog here. Actually, I've got a significant.
I will tell you something. Another thing is that the guy has very good endurance. And he is like, he will have chance to apply his power because Michael is not letting to like dominate the Zeronov, like ready to go boom either. So the Zeronov will also engage. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So the Zeronov is known with his incredible endurance, but the only thing is that he will not be in the position that he would like.
Well, I'm interested to see if he's got the same kind of attachment to the press.
With his I think he said that he hasn't done it, you know. But he may be doing in a different way, like Hermes way, just like climbing up and then try. But it will be very hard for him to do that either because Vitaly really couldn't top roll Michael.
No. Which is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it going slip straps, Mike going into that stupidly awkward position. I do think that Michael's got a lot better angle here to work with, because Zeronov, whilst he is a monster, doesn't have that unbelievable lever and doesn't necessarily focus on the finesse of the rise. So with Hermes, I think you were looking at a masterclass. Hermes is a very, very technical puller, and he understood exactly what the mission was, and he was very experienced.
Do you know what Hermes smells?
What he smells?
Hermes smells a bit of John Brzezinski.
You've said this to me before. You've said this.
I'm not saying that as good as he is, John, but that smoothness, that transition, that table IQ.
Very, very good table IQ.
I mean, very good. Like whenever you look at any other arm wrestler, they are thinking and arm wrestling. John Brzezinski is not thinking. John Brzezinski is arm wrestling. You understand? He's just like, you remember we talk on the phone as well. The guy is just like transition, the smoothness, the quality. The guy is just like arm wrestling machine. When I say arm wrestling machine, I don't mean like a robotic way. I'm saying that as aesthetic as possible.
Yes.
And I see Hermes the same. Whenever I watch Hermes, I really enjoy the way that he's doing everything. Hermes is brave. Hermes is strong. Hermes is well-rounded, and his table IQ is really high. The way that he beat Michael, if we ever would have a arm wrestling school, that match needs to be like the way to beat that move.
And everybody in the chat probably thinking, well, if that is the case, and he's unlocked something in the route map of where there is a weakness potentially in Levan Saginashvili, could he get the job done on that? Does he have to be strong enough? Does he have to be stronger? No, he has to be strong enough to make that technical approach, that strategy effective. He has to be strong enough to do that. And speaking to Hermes, he does, without sort of underestimating where Levan Saginashvili is, you do feel like he's got an inner belief that he might be strong enough. He's certainly working a lot of areas that he feels are going to give him a big advantage. But in doing so, when he came across Michael, it's very fair, in my opinion, to say that he already had a massive level of strength in the rise. He was very, very clear before the match with Mike what he needed to do to break Mike down, and he did it. And he did it in a very diligent, very professional manner, and Michael felt it. And it underlines how bloody difficult Mike is to beat, that Mike made that as hard as he did. Now, I don't personally feel like Zeronov is that level of technical puller. I think he's unbelievably strong. And for me, that gives Michael a much better shot here. I like this match for Mike better than his most recent opponents.
Okay, what does Zeronov have as a plus compared to Hermes?
The explosivity and massive side.
I think the endurance. The Zeronov has very good endurance.
They bloody need it.
He needed it. But he has that endurance, and I think he may have more horsepower, like as you said, more horsepower. But that's not the way to beat Michael. But I'm sure if it is mixed with endurance, but this guy has endurance in the positions that he likes. Will he have the endurance once the hand is like that? We will see. But I'm sure.
The other X factor is the whole USA thing, and what that does to Michael. Whether Michael gets buoyed back. Michael arm wrestles on emotion, probably as much as anyone ever has in this sport. Really, he's a very, very emotional arm wrestler, very emotional guy. And there's some days when Michael just shows up, his emotions are running right. He's got that purple streak in him, and he just goes. And when that guy shows up, he can be friggin' horrendous to arm wrestle. I think he showed up when he pulled Camille.
Did you know that yesterday he told me that if he would pull Devon next Saturday, he said that he would see himself as a favorite.
Mate,
Why did you laugh?
You got to respect that, haven't you?
Of course, of
Can
course.
you not?
I mean,
that is
of course.
awesome. Go on, Michael.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got
But
him
listen,
as an underdog.
listen. The position that he, the position that he put Larratt in. If he can do the same thing to Devon, I don't think Devon will have that flop press, but he will have to more like do this. But once he wins the rising game, yes, he can do it. But what if he loses that? Then Michael thinks that if they would pull anytime near, it will look more like WL match than the Dubai match. I don't know about that, but I don't think it will be easy. I don't think there will be any dominance by neither athlete.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I've got Mike as a. I'll be surprised if Michael doesn't win this match. I think that Michael is unbelievably focused right now. I think he's really pushing hard and he's got a point to prove. I think he wants to right a few wrongs in his own head. He's remained completely on track. He's not sidetracked by anything. There's a little bit less emotion surrounding this match for me. He's on home soil in the United States, and he's pulling against a guy that may just run into a few bear traps. And I think that's going to give him a really good opportunity to win the match. But you never know. This is the super heavyweight division. This is East versus West. It's a gunfight, and anything can go down. All it needs is one arrow. It can change the thing dramatically. And when you're at this level of top end strength, scary stuff. But I like Mike, and I like it. I'm going to go 60-40 Michael Todd.
But another thing I want to mention, people like sometimes attacks Michael so much. Maybe they don't like his pulling style. But he is not the only one that is pulling in such style. And as long as his shoulder is above, so it is within the rules. And who did Michael lose? He lost against Hermes and he lost against Vitali. Who are these guys? I mean, according to many people, these guys are the guys who have some chance against Levan.
In my opinion, the most chance.
Yeah, I mean Devon, Hermes, and Larratt. These are what people says, Yeah. And I think
Larratt has an excellent chance with anyone who arm wrestles right now. I think he's a real animal, and we're about to find out just how good a shot Hermes Gasparini's got. You never do know.
Yeah. Listen, only thing I can say about Hermes, I and Hermes we talk regularly. And Hermes believes like that. Yeah. That is for me the most important part. Most important. Most important part. If I would look at him, because I'm checking him, I'm checking him. If whenever I look at him, if I see some doubts inside of me, I will say, this guy like doesn't have chance. But that's not the case. That's not the case.
I think he's got a very real attitude about it, mate. I think there's probably some doubt in there, but I think it's a realistic doubt. I don't think
he doesn't say he's gonna win 100%.
There's no fear there.
He doesn't say
he can win.
Neil, he doesn't say he's gonna win 100%, but he is going there to win. He's going like first time.
The way I would say it, mate. I spoke to him a couple of nights ago, and he said the way I would break this down. He doesn't say he's going to win 100%. But he does say that there's 100% chance that if he does everything right, he's capable of winning.
Yes.
He may win. And I think that's the difference. It's not sort of bravado. It's not like, I'm going to do this thing when you don't really believe it. I think he's very appreciative of who Levan is and what he represents. But I also think he's got enough belief in himself to think, look, I'm moving this amount of weight. I can do this. I've pulled this guy before, and this is where he was, and this is how he's felt. And I've progressed this far. I don't believe that Levan actually has progressed in some areas, which allow me to get a bite on him. Maybe it's the rise. Maybe it's that wrist injury isn't fully healed. Whatever Hermes has done to sort of rationalize that in his mind, he's done a good job of it, because I think he believes that if everything goes his way and there's a fair wind behind him and he can get his position, he can win. He's capable of winning. Whereas last time they pulled at the start of the match,
he didn't even believe himself. He didn't even
I
believe
don't think
himself.
he believed he could win.
Yeah.
I don't think he felt like
he was hoping to have one round of stopping him.
Yeah.
And he said that he will be very happy if he can do that. And he went there with a mind that he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
And he told me, today I repeated before I said this as well. He said that after round 2, Irakli was looking at him and laughing. And he said that he was provoked, you know. And there he gave his everything. And then I think that if you remember round 3, Levan tried to control the match without the strap. And when Hermes was barely sleeping, and you know, whenever somebody's trying to get out and you try to hold on, your hand gets tired so much while trying to do that.
Big time,
And that is round 3. Right after that, with the round 3, when Levan couldn't finish and Hermes was fired up because he got angry. And then, he was about to win if the foul didn't happen. And in the restart where Hermes made the mistake, he didn't start the match with the back pressure. He's like, oh, okay, I can do shoulder pressure. No, that was a mistake. You had to first neutralize Levan's wrist with that back pressure, stop him, and then do the transition. So where he made the mistake, he just directly went there and he got flashed. And then round 4, he had the buckle on his hand, as far as I remember. And then he lost again in round 5. Again, he stopped him. They didn't continue. I don't want to go there. And but I'm just saying that this guy now is stronger than before. And this guy is going there with a mindset that on June 22nd, I will wake up as being the number 1 guy in the world. This is what the guy is saying. And listen, I told to Hermes as well. You know, I said, listen, Hermes, I'm organizer, but you are my friend, and Levan is also my close friend. If he deserves to win, I will be happy for him. And if you deserve and win, I will be happy for you. In fact, it doesn't really matter who is winning. No. If it is Devon or Larratt, whoever deserves to become number 1, we need to be happy because it means that they deserve. You understand? Yeah. I mean, we can't really. I mean, I understand there are fans, that they have their fans, but someone at my position and my level of understanding everything, I mean, if somebody is better, he's better. You know, you understand? And I'm sure that they will have a very good match, and I think that, to me, you will probably not agree, probably, but I may be wrong. This may be the most important match in the history because Levan Saginashvili, as you said at the beginning of the program, this guy is the strongest arm master ever with right arm. And Hermes Gasparini is the one that gave him the hardest time. And a lot of people believe that Hermes is the guy that has highest chance against Levan. So that is making this match very, very important. Very, very important. Yeah. So that's
certainly a massive match, and it's a massive opportunity for Hermes Gasparini to propel himself into a different hemisphere of popularity. If that dude comes out here with a win, the roof's coming off. And I think I do think that Levan Saginashvili, they would then deserve an immediate rematch, and suddenly the sport ignites again. Once again, we go to a crazy place. Fascinating matchup. And remember, guys, we are literally less than a week away. 6 days. Next Saturday night, evwsports.com. That's evwsports.com. Get over there. Get that pay-per-view. It's going to be
nothing
killer.
There is nothing bigger than this. There is Levan Saginashvili, Hermes Gasparini. If somebody is an arm wrestling fan, and that is the match. Just get your pay-per-view, and I mean, please do not support the piracy, because like does anyone think that it's fair? Some people says that, why these matches are not free. I mean, if these matches are free, how can
you pay
the hotel and flights and then the production and the venue, and how can the athletes get paid while the other sport disciplines are, the best athletes are making so much money? Is it fair that these superstars are not, like if they don't make money, just, I mean, this is like, we are trying to make arm wrestling to go to the next level. This is not a charity or organization. I wish Neil, if I was like if I had like $50 million, I would be organizing these events. I mean, for fun, you understand? I would spend money actually, but please support these events. When you support these events, you are supporting the future of the sport, and you are supporting these athletes as well. So let's get our pay-per-view, go there, watch and have fun. If this is not the event, then which event? You understand? Like Hermes Gasparini versus Levan, Devon versus Kurdecha, Michael Zeronov, Morozov versus Kurdecha, Fia versus Elin. Fia versus Elin, people don't understand, but it's a huge match. Huge. I don't understand. Like I mean, that's why I'm saying that we need to teach the community the beauty of arm wrestling more and more and more, so they will enjoy a lot of other matches as well. Like Fia Raisek, in my eyes, is whatever Devon is, Fia is the same. I'm talking about success. Like Fia is a legend. Fia has been winning. Yeah. I mean, Fia doesn't even remember how many world titles she has. Like same as Egle. Egle is incredible, like a legend, Gabriela is a legend. It will come,
Engin. It will come, mate. It will come.
We want more arm wrestling fans. Yes, we love the fans of arm wrestlers, but we want them to become arm wrestling fan. Like what's your favorite team?
Football team?
Yeah.
Blackburn Rovers.
What's that?
Blackburn Rovers.
Okay, but would you watch Manchester United versus Barcelona?
Yeah.
If Champions League match, or would you watch Spain versus Brazil football game? Yeah. Do you know why? Because you like football.
I like world-class sport.
No, this is what I am saying. You like it, but it is not your favorite team, but you still watch it. Once we have a lot of this type of fans that likes arm wrestling as much as they like their favorite arm wrestler, then we will become mainstream.
The world is waking up to it, mate, and it's exciting time.
Everyone is arm wrestling. The whole world is arm wrestling. I went to the Europeans, Romania. I saw those juniors, sub-juniors, youth category pullers. I mean, crazy level. Like, I'm like, wow. Right. Wow. Yes. I was like, wow.
Wait 20 years, mate, when all that lot, oh my God, the level, always. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's not go over these super chats, and I'll let you get out of here because I know it's crazy late over there. Casey Byrne, thank you very much for your super chat, brother. He's put, Engin, I've been watching your sport closely for years now, and I've never pulled on a table. There you go. You have fans out there that aren't pullers. It's getting bigger.
Yep.
Exactly what you're saying there. Yep. Royal 7 with a super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate it as always. He's put, hello, gents. Thanks for being on the forefront of pushing this sport to the top. The sky is the limit. Can't wait for next weekend. Rail 7, thanks, mate. We can't wait either. It's only 6 days away. Remember, evwsports.com, East versus West 18. Keep your eyes out this week. I'm sure Engin will be going live once again. He usually does about 10 podcasts a mother fluffy.
Yeah. Neil, I was in Romania after the competition finished, just with a taxi went to a mall, and somebody saw me and he said, "Oh, can we have a picture?" I said, "You are one of those guys that came to watch European." He said, "No." He said, "Is there a European Championship?" The guy didn't even know there was a European Championship in the same city. But he follows arm wrestling. He's not arm wrestler. And he said he has been watching my podcast. And no, seriously.
You're not joking.
No, and listen, like for me, ego, if nobody knows me or something, I'm okay, fine. But from why I was happy, not for me, but there are people who has nothing to do with arm wrestling, and they are really following. They are becoming fans.
Mate, if it carries on like this, I'm starting an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
No. But, I mean, I don't want to starve to death. Can you imagine? I don't think I'd make more than 50p a month. It wouldn't be right good. If it was me or Bonnie Blue, I think more people are following her. It's just not going to happen. I don't think there's no demand for a fat lad OnlyFans thing, and that is a joke.
Do you know what I will do after now? I go home. I will do bicep curls. Yeah.
What time is it now? About what time is it over there? Like midnight?
1 a.m. 1 a.m. I will do now.
Quick session.
And then I want to show this community that I'm not only a promoter. Some people knows it, some people may not know, but I'm not so hopeful. I see the level. Whenever I see the level, like my advantage, my biggest advantage was I was much ahead of my time. You understand? In the past. Now, whenever I look at it, that everyone arm wrestling great, and I'm like, okay, maybe you won't be that special anymore, because when everybody knows arm wrestling very well, and then you are 50, you are injured, and then they are young and strong, healthy, and I'm not so hopeful. But if you know me, you know that I'm not going to train to lose. So who knows? You know what happened. I will tell you one thing. There was some years ago, I quit arm wrestling. I was injured, and I was watching some of the medalists, youth national team pullers from my country, and they were doing crazy things at the table, and I was like watching. Have I been that good? Look at what those guys are doing. You understand? And then after some time rest, I started again training with the same guys I started training, and whenever I was arm wrestling them, they felt like amateurs, like they don't know arm wrestling. So what I'm just saying, like sometimes some people has some football game and they dominate the other guy, and then when they play some higher league team, and then they get dominated, and they are like, oh, I wish I would perform like the previous match. It's not because you perform bad, but you are just meeting someone that is making you feel like you're amateur.
It's going to be interesting when I think a lot of people, like you say, a lot of people will want to see you do something, mate. Want to see you come back and get into the thick of it. And the main thing is just enjoy it. Just get out there, no pressure.
Yeah.
Give it your best.
I hate when you are talking like that.
Come on, mate. That.
You are treating me like, you have nothing to prove. Just enjoy, and like it sounds like, like
I think it's not putting pressure on yourself.
Get ready your ass to be kicked, and yeah.
Depends who you're pulling. Depends who you. If you, it depends who you're pulling. I think.
Do you believe that Engin Terzi will pull average guys? I mean, I have done it.
No, I know exactly who you want.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you want. We've spoken about it. I know you're absolutely nuts, and I know exactly who you want to pull. And it's just, listen.
Who do I want to pull?
You want to pull David Samusha at some point. You want to pull against the man who is holding the belt in your weight class. So right now it's
Arthur Makaro.
Yeah. I think you want to pull Mindaugas Terasatis just because you do. So I think there's like
because I just want to shut him up, and that is the only guy. Imagine me pulling Samusha. There is no hype. Me pulling Arthur, like super respectful guys.
But if you came in and took the title at 85, That would be a statement, Engin. End of.
No, I understand. When I say the hype, yeah, there is pure
Yeah,
but there won't be any.
And said, you know
There
what,
won't be any back and forth. Like,
no, but
talking.
I think.
But imagine with Mindaugas. Oh yeah, he makes me so angry. He's just like he's talking like me, with this voice, and it just makes me like,
chirping off in that goatee voice. Like,
yeah. He's not. Yeah, you don't even like listen. You listen to him, you wouldn't even think how strong that guy is. Whenever you look at him, you wouldn't think. The way that he's talking is just so quiet, like low voice level and everything,
Yeah.
But he's very strong.
Very strong.
Very strong. Yeah.
I mean, who does that?
Yeah, but I was surprised that he couldn't beat Arthur Makarov. I was surprised because even 2018 when they had the WAP final, one match he beat Arthur. After that's 7 years, or I should say, when did they have it? 6 years, I should say. They met, and I thought that Mindaugas progressed more, while Russians were mostly inactive in the last a few years. So I thought that he would beat. And what did you think about the last Daniel Prokopchuk Arthur match? He was incredible. Huh?
Mate, I actually had Daniel picked. I thought Daniel was the favorite there. So every credit to Arthur Makarov. I thought he was great. He deserved to win on the night. He was excellent. We're not going to get into the Mindaugas Terzi match on this show, mate, because I can talk all night about that, and I do have to jump off here. But I can honestly say it's been a pleasure having you on. It's been a while. We haven't, mostly my fault. I've been out and about at the moment. I haven't a lot of things going on in the background, so I haven't had a chance to do a full review of this thing. But I will be breaking matches down through the week. I will be in the United States of America for East versus West 18. I cannot wait. Hopefully, a lot of the US fans get over there to watch this thing live. Love to meet you guys out there. Remember, evwsports.com is the link for the pay-per-view. Get over there, evwsports.com. Get it bought, guys. Huge card, huge matches put together by this man. And Engin, we will see you again very soon, son. Safe home. And thanks for everybody for tuning in, checking out the show. For the messages that we've got there on the private line, yes, Titan House is going ahead imminently. Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw are in their members. You can see training going up with Eddie Hall right now. For the moment, we're going to keep it all East versus West 18. I look forward to seeing you guys over from the USA. I'll do some stuff from over there as well. And take it easy, peeps. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and checking out the show. I'll speak to you again soon. Engin, good to see you, mate. Safe journey home and have a good evening. Diggity bong, mother fluffers.
Take care, brothers. Take care, everyone.